All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Pledge of allegiance. The flag is over there. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The mission statement: Viroqua area schools will nurture excellence, unlock potential, and ignite passion. We have the good fortune to have 3 students here this evening, Rachel, Owen, and Isaac. If you could come this way, please. And if you don't mind standing over here, and the speaker is right up there. And
Yeah, I want to kind of come up here.
come over here, and that way you'll be video recorded. Since it's a public meeting.
Make it official.
Yes, very official. And thank you all for coming. also.
Yep, right there.
That works. Do they need to be up a little bit more? so
No,
can
we need
see
to turn
them?
the camera. I got it. Right. Hold on. We're gonna get this.
You're the best part of our meeting. There we go.
Mhm.
Perfect.
All right. So there's the camera. All right.
All right, go ahead. You can introduce yourselves and
All right,
you live.
My name is Owen King.
I'm Isaac. Right.
I'm Rachel Conaway.
My classes this year are chemistry, physics, AP literature, and band and team sports. And I spent a lot of my time in the science and math classes because those are my favorite. And I find them the least procrastinated.
My classes for this first semester are Spanish 2, physics, yearbook, band orchestra, and exploring technology. Some of my favorites are physics and exploring technology, just because I find them to be the most useful for like real world applications and stuff. And yeah, I also spend a lot of my time in sports, and after high school, I plan to go to Harding University down in Arkansas, where I'll be studying architecture and also hopefully be on the track team.
My schedule this year or this semester is AP Stats, Woods and Manufacturing, English, band, and then Annette Phys 2. And my favorite classes are science. So next semester, I'm like loaded up with science classes. I have all of them except for English and band. I spend most of my time outside of school at dance or in sports. And next year, I plan on going to UWL and going into the medical field of some kind.
What do you think of the new tech app?
It's pretty nice. What were you doing the other day? It's better than being outside, which we've been doing for the past month.
A little better than the 2-car garage you had out there.
So what have you been doing in there now that it's accessible? I know it's just been a week. You haven't been in there yet?
Our exploring technology class just went in there for the first time today. And most of them are freshmen. So they're showing them how to use these things and stuff. I think we'll start actually using it later this week.
And then in Woods, we just started moving everything like all the machines back in because we've only been using 2 machines outside, just the miter saw and the table saw mostly. So we have to move all of them back in and all the hardware like drills, impacts, sanders, all the tools back in. So
Are you all involved in anything with music?
Yeah.
Okay, you want to tell us a little bit about that?
So we're all in band and we all play clarinet. But
You
yeah.
should have brought them. You could have.
But yeah,
Are you going on a trip this spring?
I'm not.
I'm not either.
Did you guys ever go?
We
Yeah.
went as freshmen.
You did, okay.
Yeah. because that was the weird COVID issue, and so
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
wondering, if that was gonna line up for you
Yeah.
guys or not.
there's a lot of seniors not going because we've done it once. And
You did get to go.
yeah,
Yeah.
Did you enjoy that trip?
yeah.
And you guys have your performance
Wednesday night.
Wednesday.
Do you all get to perform together, like stand up all the seniors playing the clarinet?
No.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great idea. You just bring it up.
In 2 days, performance.
Well, thank you. Anyone else have any questions? Thank you so much for coming. We only wish you good luck moving.
Thank you.
And as I stated, you can stay if you'd like. We're happy to have you. And if you have other things, you certainly may take off as well. So. Spotlight on education, we have Krista. This is gifted and talented events and an overview of that.
So, one of my classes or one of my roles here in the district is gifted and talented coordinator. And so we are part of the Mississippi Valley Gifted and Talented Network, which is what I'm going to explain to you or tell you more about tonight. It is just one of the pieces that provides us additional opportunities for our students. There are other enrichment opportunities that we do provide to our students that I won't talk about today, but this is one of the core pieces that allows our students to do a lot of really cool things. So, what is MVGTN? It was an idea started back in 1987 by Thomas Schools. Started with a core group of schools, and then in 1993, they divided it into a North group and a South group. And the purpose was to help schools kind of just extend their resources, collaborate to provide really great opportunities for advanced, gifted and talented learners. As part of this organization, each school commits to organizing and hosting at least one event per year for the students in the network. And we'll tell you about those coming up. And so this is just kind of a picture of our CISA 4, and then the schools we mostly interact with for these events are in the southern half, and then the northern schools kind of do most of their things together, but there are a couple where we combine both the north and the south for events. So here are the schools in our south region. Most of them are about or within an hour drive, so get to know a lot of the back roads on our way to finding most of these schools. Our membership in MVGTN provide opportunities for different types of fairs for students, competition, leadership activities, some development opportunities for staff, definitely networking and resources among the leaders who attend the meetings, sharing resources to share back with our teachers, and just a network of other similarly sized schools to problem solve and collaborate our resources. All right, so I'll just talk about some of the events. You've probably heard about some of these events highlighted at a Spotlight on Education. So some will be familiar, some will be new. I'll kind of start from our youngest students who benefit from the opportunities up to the older. So the first one I'll talk about is the Invention Fair. This one has been going on for a long time. It has definitely changed as technology has changed. So this is just for third graders. They use the scientific process and go through the entire process to think of a problem and test out some different solutions to that problem, and finally have a product to share either in a digital presentation or a poster presentation with their staff, with their class, and with other adults. We typically take a handful of students to a regional invention fair with other third graders in our region. This Lego Palooza for grades 3 and 4 is just in its second year. We, Viroqua, kind of volunteered to introduce this new event, just looking for a kind of science, hands-on, engineering type activity for students in the younger grades. And so last year was our first year. We ran it again this year. There are way, way, way more students interested in participating in this one than we have the capacity to host. But essentially, it's an event where students gather in teams of 3 or 4 with students from other schools. They're presented a building challenge, and then there's little twists and turns along the way where they have to modify their design. It's not a contest. There are no winners, but at the end, they go around and talk about their creation to other kids in the room. That just occurred in November. 4th grade, participate in Heritage Fair. This is one that we've shared with you here before. That is typically in May. The research event, place, or person who has helped shape the history of Wisconsin. A lot of research involved. These have definitely turned from poster board presentations to now slideshow presentations. Keeping up with the time. That has evolved even in the past 7 or 8 years that I've held this position as the GT coordinator. Math, 5th grade has 2 specific events that we participated. Math knowledge contest, which just happened last week. It's just a competition. Students have a team and they take individual tests and a team test, and they just compete to have the best scores and win based on that. The performing arts fair is, like it says, for 5th graders, any type of performing arts. They prepare at school and then gather together at Hillsborough. That is the school that hosts that one, to just share their talents with one another, and then rotate to some different rooms to share them again. Not a contest, just kind of an opportunity to share. Another math opportunity for grade 6. Math 24 competition. It's based on a card game. Basically, the students see a card with 4 numbers on it, and they're trying to manipulate those numbers to equal the end result of 24 as quickly as possible. This one I attended for the first time this year. It is intense. These kids are fast. And so it was fun to observe this one. They earn points individually, and then their individual points are grouped together to get a team score. And Mr. Tubin sees a familiar face in that photo there. Kids College, hosted by UWL, we take our 6th graders there. Basically what it sounds like, the UWL has their professors, their teachers put on little mini courses for 6th graders to come, and they get to select from a course offering and kind of be college students for the day. Takes a lot of coordination on UWL's part, but it's a really cool event for our students. They've come a long way to make it really seamless, getting kids back and forth around the campus quickly so that they can see as much of the campus and the different courses as possible. Quiz Bowl is coming up for 7th grade. This is basically your traditional quiz bowl, different categories, subject areas. We take a team of 6. They compete in different subject areas, different rounds, and their team score goes for a total at the end of the day. This one is a very popular event that often 8th graders ask if they can participate in again. And we also have a spelling bee and a speech contest. The spelling bee, we have several rounds here on site. It's for grades 4 through 8. We have a local Viroqua spelling bee with representatives from each of those grades. And then we take the top 2 competitors from that contest to our regional contest that combines both our North GT groups and our South GT groups for a really big spelling bee over at the Westby Performing Arts Center. The speech contest kind of evolved throughout COVID. It used to be called the Modern Woodman Speech Contest, but when it kind of stopped happening for a couple of years around 2020, afterwards, Modern Woodman kind of dissolved from the sponsorship, and our Gifted and Talented Network wanted to continue a speech contest. And so we just kind of adopted some similar topics and rules and ratings and run our own regional speech contest in a similar fashion to the one hosted by Modern Woman, Woodman. And finally, Battle of the Books is now offered for students in grades 4 all the way through grades 12. So we could have students competing at the elementary, middle school, and high school level. Some years we have had a high school team. This year we don't have a high school team, just based on who's interested and available. But this year we do have elementary teams up and going and middle school teams up and going. These are they're now based on the state. The state publishes a book list and has a Battle of the Books contest with a really cool evolving list of 20 books that are current titles, diverse titles, really like high quality and popular and classic works that really that the students really have found a lot of interest and engagement with. So this one I'm involved a lot in, and we're just getting started with some of our battles last week and this week. So this one kind of runs through December, January, February, and a little bit into March. So we kind of have something to offer for every grade throughout the year. And I think those are all of the events I can talk about tonight. Like I said, we certainly offer other enrichment opportunities. These are just what are offered through the network of schools in our area. Are there any questions? I'm gonna zoom through that pretty fast.
I remember when that started and it's done nothing but get bigger, and
Yeah.
I remember the individual who started it, and so
They definitely have had to evolve. There's
Right.
some that have been around since the start, but have had to make some changes just to kind of keep up with.
right, it's a great thing to belong to, because gives everybody a chance to do something, and yet you don't have to do the whole program.
Right, yeah, it's a good way to share.
Everybody takes responsibility for one and stuff, so that's great. Thank you for doing that.
A lot of times I get to be the person to chaperone these students to the events, and that's one of my favorite parts of my job, is spending the day with kids from our school in an environment with other kids enjoying the same type of topic or event. So little glimpse into one of the pieces of my day and year.
Do you have any areas or any ideas of anything you'd like to add, or not at this time? Not at this time.
That's a loaded question. We were really excited to add the Lego event because I know robotics is always something we want, and building and engineering and designing, those are pieces we always want to find more opportunities for our students to do. I don't know that I personally have the capacity to add another event to it, but I know our group is really open to brainstorming and taking on new ideas, or retiring an idea and adding something different if something just doesn't have the same impact that it used to have. So.
Well, thank you. Do we have any public comment? All right, the consent agenda, approval of the agenda, proof of public notice, November meeting minutes, voucher summary 1 in the amount of $566,641.31. We do not have any retirements or resignations. We do not have any appointments.
Agenda as presented.
Thank you. Is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. The next item is voucher summary 2.
I move to approve the voucher summary 2 in the amount of $292,209.59.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And I abstain. Information and discussion. We have new scholarships. We have the Clyde and Edith Tunk Scholarship, and we have the Pete Swanson Memorial Scholarship.
Yeah, so the Clyde and Edith Tunk Scholarship is an incredible commitment from that family, and they're very proud to offer this. Essentially, it'll be a yearly $5,000 award to a graduating senior going to a tech school, and then an additional 5,000 to graduating senior attending a 4-year college. And so, yeah, absolutely, outstanding scholarship there, and we thank that the Tunks family for that. The next one is the Pete Swanson Memorial Scholarship Fund. And that is in the amount of $10,000, and that's it made to the foundation as well. And so Angie has a lot more background on some of these, you know, with her work on the foundation. But yeah, obviously, we know the impact that Pete had on Viroqua area schools and on our community, and we're very proud to be able to present this to our students as well. There are some requirements for that one, but essentially, you know, they want it to be someone who attends some type of post-secondary. So it could be tech, 4-year or anything in between.
I'll extend the meeting. Anybody know where Clyde's meat market?
Yes,
Where was it?
I'll let you say, did you know it?
Where was it?
You know, Kim?
The rock.
By the
It
rock
was-
shop.
Yeah, it was
Oh.
not there when I came. It
No.
was just before that, so, yeah.
I remember going in the school bus and seeing all meat hanging in with the sausage and all that. Never got to stop there until it's a rock shop.
So the Clyde and Edith Tunks, they had the grocery store, which Robert was talking about. And the Carlgard family, which is the daughter of Clyde and Edith. She and her husband have started this scholarship in memory of her parents. And it was $120,000. And so this is going to be an ongoing scholarship, and it should be about $10,000 a year. Like Tom said, 5,000 to 2 different areas of interest. And then Swanson, with his passing, his family started a memorial scholarship in his memory and honor. And so these are lovely, lovely people who want our students to succeed in a higher level of education after high school. And we are fortunate to have them. And they both went through the Viroqua Foundation. And so the earnings from the investments will then go towards scholarships. And if it's more than 5,000 per student, or if it's, you know, whatever those earnings might be, and the principal will stay intact. So it's wonderful. We're very fortunate. Tom, you have the facilities update, referendum information, 25.26 school calendar, and 25.26 school calendar, and then legislative linkage update.
Yeah, so for a facilities update, we had an outstanding open house on Thursday last week. Didn't know what kind of turnout you were going to get when it was a real feel of -8 degrees when that event started. And I think we had a great turnout. I'm never great at it, especially as people are coming in later, because it was an open, you know, I'd heard numbers of around 100 people. And so I think that was just an outstanding event. We did have 5 former tech ed or ag teachers that were in attendance, which was super, super cool. And they actually helped us cut the ribbon. And so to walk around with them and hear, you know, we had the original teachers that were there in 1970 when that opened, which was incredible to go, hey, I was, you know, here when this was, you know, state of the art. And now I'm getting to full circle experience of coming back and being in that space. And so we had a ton of great feedback, and I just can't wait to be able to showcase that more throughout our community. And that's really where the communication after that event has been in the last few days, is how do we get more people in there? Because I think it's one thing for us to show a video, it's another thing for us to show pictures, but for you to actually be in the space and to feel how not only large the space is, but just what you're able to do and what our students are going to be able to do in that space. So we're going to try to think outside the box a little bit of how to get more people into that space, because it is incredible. It's incredible. So, yeah, don't have any pictures for you. If you are, you know, interested and want to, you know, swing down there, we can definitely do that. Yeah, it's okay. We'll show it off again. We're very proud of how that turned out. We are past the stage, they call it substantial completion, which means they have a few punch list items that they still have to do, a couple touch-up paint pieces, maybe an outlet covers off here or there, those kind of things. But everything is ready to go, and the students can be in there and operating equipment and doing those kind of things already, which is awesome. And again, it's going to be a big change for those that are in our woods class that we're operating out of. If you remember, we moved that 2-car garage in the back, and then that's our food service garage now. But temporarily, we were operating the world's smallest wood shop out of a 2-car garage in the back, and they were putting out a lot of patio furniture, which again, kudos to all of our teachers that have had to adjust for the semester, but that was one of our major adjustments, and they did that adjustment well. And they are getting quite the upgrade going from a 2-car garage to that new wood shop.
I think the biggest adjustment will be the new.
Hmm.
We got a lot of work to do there in terms of how we're gonna utilize.
Oh, yeah,
this.
yeah,
What are we gonna teach?
yep. Yeah, but obviously gives us, such great flexibility and options. And again, to be able to do that on time and under budget is something, we're very proud of. And that is not something that happens often, but it is happening with this project. And again, that happens with a lot of things, you're not only making, decisions to not go too far with your money, but also having great partners like Myron and HSR that understand how we wanted to run these things, and when we had some left over, how do we want to make this work? And I think we found the right balance, and it's a space that will, it's going to be years and years of being literally the state of the art of facility for tech ed in the region. So it's beautiful, and we're excited about it.
So as a board, we want to thank all of our partners, our community for their financial investment, as well as all of our administrators and teachers and staff, because we all know how complicated it is to be put in other spaces and moving things around, custodial staff. And we've had these conversations and thanked them already, but our administrators on top of their regular jobs is also, teaching kids, working with our community, but also putting together everything necessary for a referendum and making all of those decisions. So we would like to thank everyone who participated and made that possible.
I don't know how we're going to celebrate when that last truck drives off, but I am going to celebrate. Yeah. So referendum information, we had talked about this. We are gathering information for a spring, referendum and recommendation that we will be presenting to you next month. So Chris and I have a meeting tomorrow, I believe, that got scheduled with Baird to review the numbers that we have compiled and make sure that we have all of our aid estimates and all of our estimates in the right place, and that we are gathering the right feedback from that group. And so that's kind of the next step. And then we'll go from there. Communication, as soon as we have it for the community, we'll go out. But again, right now we're in the information gathering stage. Questions on that? Okay. School calendar. So we do have a rough draft, I would call it, of the school calendar right now. And we have asked and received feedback from the VEA, but we just have not been able to sit down as an administrative team since we got that feedback. So I don't have the official recommendations right now. We, in all likelihood, are going to be starting school in September of 2025, which I can't even wrap my head around yet. On the 2nd of September, and then that would lead to a last day in the middle of that first week of June on the 3rd with the current draft. And so again, every year the dates are a little, one break falls this a little ways this way or this way. So, those are pieces we are considering, a few different options for things within that, piece. But again, when we're bringing this to your vote, it's going to be that of starting date and ending date. And that's what we're gonna present to you next month.
How many attendance days?
It'll be the same as of at this point with 177, which is what we've been at for many years.
I mean,
7 years. Yep. Any other questions? Okay. And then coming back to the legislative linkage update, that is an event we hold in the first week of December for the last 3 years. And we invite all of our elected officials that represent the district in one way, shape, or form. And so we invite the governor. He doesn't usually show up, but we did have for the third year, I think, in a row, a representative from Tammy Baldwin's office. We have our local, assembly representatives and elected or elect in this particular case, and multiple county reps and city council or reps. And so it was again another event that I think was really good. And that is it's well attended, but it's also a piece that we're really intentional not to make this a meeting of you've wronged us or you owe us anything. It is absolutely a collaboration meeting of what are the issues that we're seeing in your areas in which you represent, and what are some ways that we as public schools and Viroqua area schools specifically, what can we do to help collaborate and to help address some of those issues. And a lot of it goes to workforce development and pieces like that. But it's really it's been an opportunity for us to form pretty great partnerships, and for elected officials to speak to each other when they don't usually have an government platform. And so that has been really good for starting other partnerships as well. We look to have that again in December, this coming December, a year from now, and I would expect very similar results. We ended this year with a tour of the unfinished at that time Tech Ed space, and it was awesome to see the reaction and pieces. Walking through the egg processing lab and all of the possibilities that space presents is incredible. And so on top of the Fab Lab and the other pieces that we've had traditionally. So any questions about the legislative linkage? I think it's one of those pieces that I can see, the benefit we'll look to obviously continue to tweak and make everything better, but it's one that I think those that have been there the 3 years are expecting, and that they like that they have a platform, if nothing else, to talk about. It gives us an opportunity to brag about our students and our staff, but it also is a piece where we can talk about, all right, here's what we, where we're going and how, again, establishing those relationships for the good of public education moving forward.
How widespread is that among districts?
How many districts do what we do? I think you know the answer to that. It's very few. We did, especially in this part of the state. We did steal, I would say, beg, borrow, steal, whatever you want to call this. This was a conversation that the board had years ago now of how do we get our elected officials at the table so that they understand who we are, what we're doing, and what we're potentially going through. And so in looking at different pieces and what other districts do, Howard Swamico does a yearly legislative linkage as well. And it's a slightly different format, and theirs is much more focused on funding than what ours is. But it's definitely, a piece where we're like, well, we can use that format and do, use it for what we need it to be, which is, again, that collaboration space. And when it's no pressure collaboration space, I feel we get much better reception to that and an eagerness to show up and to participate. That is interesting.
Oh,
It's your time out.
so, we can't expect legislators to know everything about all aspects of their jobs. And so it's a really nice way of explaining all. What is that?
There's your sign.
You should-
I promise the legislative linkage was not a war.
But it's really been a nice way of showcasing what we've been able to do with the resources that we have and what we could be able to do if we had more resources as well. And they can ask questions, and then perhaps they'll reach out to Tom when they do have questions, when things come up as different bills cross their desks. So I know personally, I love that evening. And it's not all, it really showcases the good stuff too.
Mhm.
And we're not great about doing that in education, so that's nice.
No, and the tour was a great follow-up and just a chance to even chat some more with individual people and stuff, so it was really good.
I like this, the collaborative approach, your testimony, Tom, and Luke.
Mhm.
At the joint committee on finance, powerful and very appropriate. We did not talk down or say anybody was wrong. It was very positive, and I believe in my conversations with the legislators that resonated very, very well. Thank you for that. Thanks for continuing collaborative approach.
I know you spoke at that as well on several topics, and I hope that it matters. I'd
Mhm.
like to hope that it matters, that when people speak from their experiences and are being straightforward, there's not another agenda. I think they listen.
Obviously. Big fears. Pardon.
Any questions? So now we have winter activities. Are you speaking to those?
Yeah, I can. You can see in Jason's report, the high school winter concert is this Wednesday, 7 p.m. Really excited. The middle school and never mind. Mr. Christensen is on, and I always get blamed for stealing his thunder. So I will not speak on that one.
That's not true. I don't mind you stealing my thunder, but this is one in particular that I'm really excited about, the thunder, I guess. Yeah, the band concert that was last Monday for the middle school was just fantastic. We had so many people there. We didn't have enough seats, which is a good problem to have, but it was yet a problem, right? So something that we're learning from and planning differently the next time. But we had to move our students that typically will sit in the bleachers. We had to move them onto the ground just to make more spaces. We brought in more chairs. I mean, it was very cool. We had so many people there, and it was just a great concert. Really cool to see the outcome of all the hard work of our students, both individually, but then coming together and making this awesome collective sound. So yeah, huge shout out and kudos to our students for who participated in that, and obviously each of the directors as well of our choir, orchestra, and band did a phenomenal job of getting the students to that point where they performed at such a high level and creating such an awesome event. We've got Drama Club has now started. We've got the auditions are all completed with that. Rehearsal started last week, and we've got a number of students. It's very cool to see Emily Sainer kind of pick up the reins and keep that program running at a very high level where students are highly engaged. And this is obviously, students that might not participate in other activities in our school. So more opportunities for our students to feel like they can showcase their talents, feel like they belong. So very, very cool. I apologize for my dog whining in the background here. But that's kind of what we've got for an update. Obviously, we've got our wrestling meet happening in that building tonight. So if you haven't had a chance to stop by and cheer on our middle school wrestlers, please do. And we've got basketball, boys basketball finishing up here in December, and girls basketball picks up then in January.
So what's in your background? It looks like it could be a calf.
I've got
Jersey?
3 cows. Yeah. So that's from, I think the artist is called Steel Cow out of somewhere in Iowa. I don't know. And maybe someone there knows the artist, but yeah, some very cool art in my background here too.
Yeah, so to continue, that report, just wanting to really talk about winter in Viroqua is definitely our most consistently busy time for events. When you talk about, we've got our wrestling teams, we've got our basketball teams, we've got our hockey teams, we've got all of these other extra, curricular events. But I really do want to give a shout out to both Mr. Anderson and Mr. Brown. If you have never, which most of us have not, been in that role of activities director or scheduling, you are looking years in advance. And I don't mean like you're looking years in advance for not only events, but also officials and getting crews involved. And so for them to not only get, this year's set, but then to be already scheduled out for next year's hockey or basketball events. It is an endeavor, and it is one that is always changing. And boy, do they get good at watching the weather. And so it's one that it often is one that goes overlooked because it's just hey, games happen, and if they get rescheduled, they get rescheduled, but. It is one that it's a very busy time, and we appreciate the individuals that do that, and all of those event workers that we've got a group of very consistent event workers, and we absolutely appreciate everything they do so that we can provide the experience that we do for our student athletes and our fans in the stands.
So I was having a conversation with somebody in relationship to that, and in the old days when we didn't have email and you literally had to call all those people to schedule games, and you didn't have phones in your pocket, you were phones attached to the wall and corded, so we were just having that conversation, so that's fun.
Had to be a
You're
good football
dating
game.
yourself.
I know, that was back when I
Scout's
coached.
jersey.
Long time ago.
Telegram. It's a different telegram.
Right, the solstice dinner, Kathy.
Very excited to say that the candlelight solstice dinner that Driftless Cafe puts on will be happening Wednesday. This is a pay what you can event, and all proceeds go to support students in need during the holiday season. So in the past years that I've been privileged to sit in this seat, the community has put in over $28,000 towards holiday giving. We give out Viroqua bucks, and the cafe started this years ago on the darkest night of the year, the solstice, which actually happens on Saturday, but because we do not have school beyond, they're having it Wednesday night. It's a beautiful event, and it's just a very big community event. So thank you to the Driftless Cafe and the community for supporting our families in need through the holiday season.
How does it work? Is it a line? Do you make a reservation?
They don't take reservations. They open the door at 5. You go in and there's a limited menu, but you order and then pay what you can. They have caroling in the alley and hot chocolate while you're waiting. So it's a very festive evening.
They do get you through quicker than normal just because of their limited menu. And so it's not not that they're ever like slow, but they do have this, kind of, they know they're going to be serving a lot of whatever they're serving.
And you can order to go, I assume, or no?
I don't know that answer. Now that you asked that, I don't know.
I don't know that answer. I don't.
Okay. I've heard
Maybe I'll
about it.
try
I've
it.
never attended. I was just curious.
Yeah, it's an incredible event and yeah, they've raised tens of thousands of dollars for our students' families that are in need for the holiday season.
Thank you to the journalists.
Mhm.
Board report. So Laurel High School update. Vicky is not present, so we'll postpone that for next month. Bands, Kim.
So they had a meeting tonight. Chris came and introduced himself to the members. They're still working on, website pictures. They're about at the point where they're gonna be working with Beth on that. They, are still looking at, trying to do a grant in the charter school grants for the middle school. But they have to get that more organized and they're gonna set up a meeting with Tom and Pat to do that. They did review the open meeting laws as an agenda item tonight. They're talking about changing the length of turns and rollovers, trying to make it so it's not so many people at the same time rolling over, so they can have some consistency. And they voted on a new member tonight, so they added a new member for somebody who had left. So, yeah.
Scholarship committees. If you could let me or Beth know if there's a different committee that you would like to be on for the scholarship committee, other than what you have been on in the past, let Beth know that. And if you have a question about which committee you were on, once again, ask Beth, and she has all of that information for us. The spring school board election is coming up. Marina and I are up for election for 2025 for a 3-year term. All incumbents need to file their paperwork. Which would be Marina and I. If someone is interested in running for the board, they should contact Beth. All incumbents. And then the links to the candidacy paperwork are listed on the school board election information page. But you, like I said, also can reach out to Beth if you are interested in running.
I have some forms also.
Okay.
As companies.
Great. You can reach out to Robert and he has forms if you'd like to fill out one. So that makes it even one step easier. The WASB resolutions, the recommendations have been attached. I know Dana has received those and Dana is going to be our representative for the at the school board convention, and she's very excited about that. The 25 WASB convention will be January 21 through 24. Myself, Dana, Matt, Marina, Chris, and Tom are planning to attend. If you are or are not planning to attend, please let Beth know so that we can make sure that the hotel accommodations have either been made or deleted. The WASB legislative update, we had our legislators here and invited them here. That was wonderful. Great event. Look forward to it every year. Very good conversation. We showcased our school district at the most optimistic level that we could. We have a lot of amazing things going on in our district. We also have our workshops coming up, and we have been having them on the first Wednesday of each month. And if you could please reach out to Beth and let her know what day and week works out best for you. Wednesdays are not going to be possible because of some conflicts that Tom has with those Wednesdays. I don't know if we want to do Mondays. I don't know if we want to try to tie it into when we have our regular board meetings. I don't know what works out with everyone's schedules, but we want to make sure that our board members can attend. So please share with Beth what days and weeks work best for you moving forward. We don't have a workshop every month, but we probably do seven to 8 months. It's nice to have consistency so we can put it on our calendars to plan ahead. But if that's not possible and it has to be a different day during different months, we certainly do that too. Just let her know. Oh, our January meeting, there may be a conflict. There's a legislative meeting possibly on the 3rd Monday in January. Tom's trying to get some more information about that to make sure it's an actual date, but it's for board members in our area and legislators in our area all wanting to meet together. So it's not something we would miss as a board if possible. But we also know it's difficult to change those 3rd Monday meetings. So you might be hearing from Tom about us changing that board meeting if they cannot. He has requested that they possibly change their board meetings. I don't know how many other school districts have their meeting on that first or 3rd Monday. So he's waiting to hear back. So you may get an update about that.
If it stays on the 20th, can you move your meeting up?
Is that a possibility to move it up?
Yes.
13th would be.
Does anybody have a conflict with that?
I'm in the wrong month. No.
Um,
is good.
Better than the wrong year.
I've done that since it's almost 2025. Does anybody have a conflict with that if we were to move it up?
Early.
Oh, I think they were
13th,
talking
you mean?
about moving it to the
This
13th.
meeting.
This meeting to the 13th.
Oh, moving.
Yeah, they were like, they
Moving
were
it to
talking
the
about moving.
13th.
Yeah,
That's
that
what
evening, right now, they've penciled in at 6 o'clock. And that's how they shared the information, is it's penciled in. And so the whole email chain was just give them feedback on if that'll work. That's what it was. And so we gave the feedback. We have a regular meeting and so if we can do that at a different time in January, that would be great. If not, we would potentially adjust because obviously we want a seat at that table, especially for getting multiple school boards together.
It takes board action to change our meetings from the 3rd Monday.
Okay, so do we do that? I mean, it's penciled in, so what if they change their board meeting?
I would, so I believe they're going to change it because we're not the only board that has the 3rd Monday. So I believe they're gonna change that, but I don't have that for sure.
We'll just have special
Have that
meetings
with-
instead of.
Can we make the motion now because it's not on
It's
the
not on the
agenda?
agenda.
But what if they
Right.
It's
No, we'll
not
just,
on the
it's not on the
agenda,
agenda, but.
they
we-
could change it, their meeting to the?
We'll just have to
13th?
have a special
No,
meeting.
if
to set
if that's the
meeting.
case, we'll do a quick special board meeting to change our meeting date and we'll get us together and we can do it via Zoom if we need to. Yep.
So just an FYI that you might be
Yep.
getting an email.
just keep you in the-
Follow your emails.
And Beth is good about texting us. if we need
Yes,
to work,
thank
so
goodness she is.
She's excellent at that. Thank you.
Is there anything else? Okay, with that, Happy New Year. Happy holidays, safe holidays to everyone. And is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.